Hello, my name is Jaden Archangel, and today I will be presenting to you my individual performance titled The Echo of Rizal. Where are my manners? I must introduce myself. My name is Jose Rizal, a doctor, writer, polymath, but most importantly tonight, I am a hero for the Philippine Islands, a nation that fought for its independence and cultural development. During the 19th century, I led the Philippine propaganda movement from 1880 to 1898, an effort to end the injustices that the Filipinos faced from Spanish colonial rule for over 400 years. At this time, I spread my ideologies of reform through literature. Through my quill, I've advocated for the Filipinos' right of freedom of expression and self-determination. Yet, these rights cannot be used without responsibility. That is why I demand that these rights may only be used under the civic responsibility of uniting and building a just society to prevent anarchy and pursue a peaceful reform. Now, let us journey throughout the Philippines, the land where I have set to save. We have been exhausted every day on the field. We have worked for them, but they have not repaid us. The Spanish friars even took all my crops on my fields. My apologies. I must explain. For over 300 years, the Spanish crown had the Philippine Islands in Southeast Asia in control with their colonial rule. During this time, us indigenous and common people were forced into labor, build their churches, supply their ships, anything to get them rich. But this law was called Polo y Servicio. It stated that us Filipinos had to work for the Spaniards without any pay. Aside from this, we were also put at the bottom of a new social hierarchy. Of course, the Peninsulares, who were full-blooded Spaniards, were at the top. But us Filipinos, we were the ones who had to pay the high taxes. However, we didn't lose hope. That is because during the 19th century, many Filipinos, mostly the ones who were half-blooded, were able to go to Europe for education. These people were called ilustrados, and they were known to be educated and exposed to ideas of nationalism, liberalism, and other ideas of which we would fight for in the Philippine propaganda movement. All of these ideas quickly spread throughout the Philippines through the famous newspaper published in 1889, La Solidaridad. Most of the Filipinos who were ilustrados called us Filipinos indolents, including Jose Rizal in his essay, The Indolence of the Filipinos. For us Filipinos did not fight against the corrupt Spanish rule, but the built-up anger from the exposed number of grievances done by the Spanish friars, paired with the growing ideologies, led Jose Rizal to create the Philippine propaganda movement, a fight to not rise above, but to rise for equality. And that is how the Filipinos woke up. The Philippines is our ticket to riches. The Spanish have profited over this land for many years. The Filipinos cannot just rule over themselves or rise above good Catholic men. Rizal has even spoken to some of the Filipinos of how they are indolent, and that because of that they are not fighting these so-called injustices. But there is no such thing of indolency and injustice. This Rizal is a tyrant. He has told the Filipinos that us Spanish friars are corrupt and our rule has been criticized. Our power is justified by the divinity in which we serve. We are not eroding their cultural identity, rather turning them into good Christians. He has even told the Filipinos to develop their own cultural and social development. But we can do that for them. With the rights of self-determination and freedom of speech, the Filipinos can rise above us and destroy our rule. They'll even lead the Philippines to an anarchy. Jose Rizal is hypnotizing the Filipinos. He has even gained support from American newspapers like the St. Landry Clarion, calling him a hero. These actions cannot go unnoticed. Rizal and his actions and ideologies must be stopped. The Spanish friars think that Jose Rizal is a tyrant and that he will lead the Philippine Islands to an anarchy. But all of this isn't true. Rizal has never told us to fight the Spaniards. He's told us to rise, yes, but he's never told us to rise above the Spaniards, only to rise to be equal with the Spaniards. In September 1889, Jose Rizal published his political essay titled "The Philippines, a Century Hence." Rizal never once said to engage in a war or outbreak. Instead, he has come up with ideas with his group La Liga Filipina, founded in 1892, of rather peaceful reforms to not stain the motherland country with blood. As he once said here, "As no one should desire or hope for such an unfortunate rupture, which would be an evil for all, let us see by what forms of peaceful evolution the islands may remain subjected to the Spanish authority with the very least detriment to the rights, interests, and dignity of both parties." See here, Rizal has spoken about the importance of peace to avoid the rupture of human lives. Rizal, in the same essay, has also emphasized the need for self-determination, but under the responsibility to pursue a peaceful reform. He has also noted that with these liberties, the Filipinos can end up the same as their oppressors and use their rights without discipline. Shall I state another? Rizal has also explained how if the Filipinos not understand their rights of self-determination, the responsibility of self-governance is absent. Jose Rizal never wanted the Filipinos to use their rights unwisely in the propaganda movement, only under the responsibility to pursue a peaceful reform. Jose Rizal was thought to be a tyrant of the Spanish friars, despite advocating for peaceful reform. Because of this, Jose Rizal was executed on December 30, 1896, in Manila, Philippines. Immediately following his death, he became a martyr, a symbol to the Philippine Islands. He even gained international support from Theodore Roosevelt and many American newspapers like the South Dakota and Minnesota Historical Society. But most importantly, his death enraged the Filipinos, and they decided to form revolutionary groups, which went against Rizal's ideologies of a peaceful reform. Following the propaganda movement, the Filipinos would then fight in the Spanish-American War, alongside the U.S. After this, the Philippines would now be in control of the United States. Over the years of the Philippines in control of the United States, Rizal's ideologies were still present, and his martyrdom helped pass the Philippine Organic Act of 1902, helping the Filipinos finally rule over themselves. Then, on June 12, 1956, Rizal Law was passed by the Philippine Senate, which meant that Rizal's ideologies would be institutionalized in the Philippine education system, which was 6 decades after Rizal's death, highlighting his enduring and his impact on the nationalism of the Philippines. Jose Rizal was an important figure to the Philippines during the Spanish colonial rule. He has taught us to unite for the greater good. He spread his ideologies of peaceful reform throughout the islands, instructing the Filipinos during the Philippine propaganda movement to use their rights of freedom of speech and self-determination. But only under the responsibility to pursue a peaceful reform to prevent anarchy. Now I must say, Rizal's legacy must not be forgotten. He has taught us to unite for the greater good, build a society of justice, education, and equality. Let us pursue his dream. We can end the fight of oppression with the balance of our rights and responsibilities. Thank you.